Stop me if you've heard this one. Paige is a hero with design issues so inherent to her kit that she is the only hero in Deadlock that is actively detrimental to your learning of the game. This may sound like an opinion born from someone who hates the very idea of support heroes, one that disregards the different forms of skill expression in such archetypes of heroes, and to be fair, that kind of bias is generally rather common in games like these. Hell, Overwatch basically invented the concept of support players quote-unquote lacking skill in comparison to whatever Reaper OTP was deciding to be toxic on that day. However, I assure you that is not the case with me. While I wouldn't consider myself a support player or anything of the sort, I have quite a bit of experience even, or rather, especially on Paige. When I made that video 2 months ago about exactly why I think Paige is so detrimental to new players, despite being designed for new players, I neglected to mention my experience with the hero, mostly because I thought it didn't matter. However, to some, it seemed as if I was merely hating on the hero because I simply perceived her to be low skill. And let me assure you, it is something I know to be very true from nearly 150 games of playing her. After so many games, I can say with utmost certainty that this hero deserves all of the flack that she gets and more. However, that video is one that I already made and expounded upon, and if you want to watch it, it should be in the top right of your screen right now. No, the intent of this video is rather to prove how broken her design is. I played 50 straight games of her strongest playstyle, that is, Barrier Cycle, to prove just how powerful this stupid hero is. After 50 games of just playing Paige, I was bored out of my mind, but also extremely interested in seeing my win rate for those 50 games. See, there's this common saying that goes around multiplayer games. 33% of the time your team will be so bad there is nothing you can do to win. 33% of the time your team will be so good there's nothing you can do to lose. And that last 33% is your effect on the game. Therefore, the theoretical perfect possible win rate you can have is 66%. Your effect on games, 33%, and how often your teammates win your games, 33%. The last 33% of the games are games where you have a team full of throwers and hard-stuck Andes who have no clue what to do. 36 games. I won 36 games on this hero out of 50. That's a 72% win rate. That should not be possible. 72 isn't just good, it's absurd. If a hero can produce a 72% win rate while requiring almost no skill expression, then the hero isn't rewarding good play, she's bypassing the game entirely. I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. There is simply no excuse for a hero to go this long without a substantial nerf to her most oppressive playstyle. For 6 months, she's been in the top 10 heroes win rates across all ranks, with no real nerfs to show for it. Now, it's not uncommon for some heroes to have inflated win rates. A hero such as Bebop, for example, is a hero who's inherently stronger against players who have less game knowledge or sense, and thus have an inflated win rate in lower ranks. Likewise, a hero who takes a bit more skill or knowledge is going to have a lower win rate in low ranks, but a higher win rate in high ranks. However, a hero that has a top tier win rate regardless has neither excuse. No, a hero like Paige is simply broken, to an obnoxious degree, and the fact that she's been in this state for multiple major patches is egregious. What makes this even worse is how miserably easy this hero is to play, and god is it boring too. I just played 50 straight games of this, please just take my word for it. Paige's main playstyle is to simply cycle her barrier and guardian ward on her teammate in lane to get infinite pressure without them taking any damage, which requires no risk to herself of course, nor does it require the mechanical skill of aiming or game knowledge. It's just pressing barrier, then pressing guardian ward. Out of lane, Paige's best bet is to run around with a carry looking for out of position enemies to knock down into her sword for what will practically be a free kill, which is not difficult to pull off. She isn't really the one dealing damage, that would be the carry's job, and knockdown is a point and click. Landing the sword is as simple as timing the windup with the knockdown effect, which is extremely simple to get the hang of, and you'll really only miss 1 or 2 knockdown swords. Finally, late game, Paige's plan is to become a debuff merchant, applying curse, slowing hex, and stun as often as possible. Except curse and slowing hex are also point and click. Her stuns are AoE and long range, and they keep buffing playing Paige this way for some inexplicable reason. The entire gist of what you should be taking away from what I'm saying here is that absolutely nothing Paige does, or is part of her overall game plan, takes any amount of skill expression. Not her stun, not her point and clicks, and certainly not her position in a team fight. which is to sit at the back and use all of those aforementioned abilities. This is so powerful too. Curse is objectively one of the strongest items in the game, even after its nerf. Actually, the Curse nerf was kind of a buff to Paige and any hard support type heroes. See, the 8% damage penalty really only caused damage dealers to stop buying it as often, rather than them actually nerfing the item's effectiveness. That means to a hero who doesn't care about her damage output like Paige, this item was effectively buffed. Curse is still just as valuable as before, but now enemies are just less likely to buy it, while she still has free reign to do so. So, relative to her, Curse has been unchanged. The fact that there's no real way to negate barriers outside of the Curse item is also a massive problem, because it just means Paige has less and less counterplay. The introduction of a hero like Rem only makes this whole thing more aggravating, because he shows that Valve knows how to make a support hero that doesn't suffer from such deficiencies. The main reason why Paige is problematic and Rem isn't is the fact that Rem's tag-along still forces him to interact with the enemy team, whereas Barrier, Sword, Knockdown, and Horses can all be cast from a long distance. Paige is simply the only hero who is this uninteractive. Obviously, of course, a hero like Grey Talon or Vindicta are fine since they interact with fights by being complete menaces. Their abilities are loud and obvious, and those heroes are often focused down even in low ranks, unlike Paige. My name is FighterJet, and if you're thinking of playing 50 straight games of Paige, I can tell you it is not an interesting way to play the game. Just pick something else, I beg you.